All right, seeing that it's 6 o'clock, I'm going to call to order the meeting of the Wage and Personnel Board for the town of Kingston, Monday, April 7th. Couple of announcements, meetings being recorded by Zoom. Anyone interested in making an audio video recording of this meeting should notify the chair at this time. I'm not seeing any. Items may be taken out of order at the discretion of the chair. Another announcement, the Wage and Personnel Board needs a third member. That third member is to be appointed by the Finance Committee. If you are interested in joining the board, please contact the Finance Committee or the Board of Selectmen. This should be a relatively short meeting. Update from Tina, our Human Resources Manager. When can we call you director? July 1st?
If it goes through.
If they don't go through. Okay. Okay. I just want to make sure I'm calling you the right title. Okay. So.
Yeah, the only thing I have is that, the assistant COA director, he's been interviewing for the last couple of weeks, and so hopefully we'll have some movement there soon. So that's it.
Okay. A lot of candidates.
Yeah, we do get a lot of
Good.
good, actually.
Good. Okay. Nothing else?
Nothing else.
Okay, you're okay time meeting wise? After
Yeah.
our meeting on the 25th with the Board of Selectmen? Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, Jennifer reminded me, I was comparing all the schedules, so I made the announcement of the water department secretary, which was secretary of the fall, and also,
Oh, right.
and also the building, because those were the changes
Yeah,
I
last
had.
time,
I
yeah.
had the ones from, springtime meeting. I didn't have it updated. So that's one.
Go.
But you know what? The one thing I noticed is that
So sorry.
excuse me.
God knows.
The one thing I noticed was that
Thank you.
selectmen there was a lot of them, and especially as it relates to the treasurer collector and the Department of Public Works. Among other things. But no, the point I was trying to make was that there'll be some possible turbulence.
Yeah.
And if we didn't put those placeholders in
Right.
place,
Right.
then we would not be able to do anything.
Exactly, right,
So,
right.
So, and I think honestly, what I saw in reaction was they appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the process you go through, you know what I mean, like get it on there and do that, so.
Yep.
You can always just withdraw it. Not, I mean, you can withdraw something a heck of a lot easier than you can insert something. You can insert something. It's sort of,
Any questions?
no.
Okay,
Everything was fine. Your explanation was really very succinct and I was happy about it.
anything we have to prepare for annual town meeting? I thought everything was approved, everything we voted on, they voted the warrant article through. I gave them an update on how much it cost, so that they can see what dollars and cents look like.
Yeah, too.
yeah.
Break out that was one of them. Yep.
Yep.
We should be all set.
Nothing from your side that we should be aware of with town meeting?
No.
No
I think
changes.
Tomorrow's the first up to meeting, well, I think we finalize everything,
I
so.
hope so. I did get a request from, one of the members of the BOS for the information on the public works director. And I just copied them with the emails we had from the JAQ used
Yeah.
and the job
Yep.
description, and I just gave it to them.
Yeah, I know that committee met last week, I don't know.
Okay.
I was just gonna ask, do we have anything? I mean. Well, okay, never mind.
All right. Other than that, Jennifer, I don't think there's anything else we need to do. Any mail? Okay, okay. Minutes from March 17th and March 25th. I read the ones that Jennifer sent. I would take a motion to approve the minutes of March the 17th as written.
So moved,
I'll second it. Call the roll, Lorraine,
yes,
Jim, yes. Okay, the minutes from March the 25th, which was a selectmen meeting. Again, I'll call for a motion to take the minutes to approve them as written.
so moved,
And I'll second it, and I'll call the roll, Lorraine,
yes.
Jim, yes.
I was just looking at a note, I'll hold on now.
Okay, was there anything that you wanted to?
I don't want to open up a can of worms, maybe I have a question. I remember,
We can hold hold the vote for
oh,
one.
no, the vote is fine,
Okay,
nothing's
all
gonna
right,
change.
so just for
The
information,
question is, it was asked if the schools paid for that support, and it's going to be responded in negative. We're talking about the HR
right,
director
Yeah.
and how you assumed, work from schools. Is there any conversation that said, I mean, I know that the budget's here, it's, what they've spent is right.
Sure.
Okay.
but what the question was
So the-
at the meeting
Right,
was,
so
I
what-
think in this budget world that we're in, the current climate, that, they're looking for all the revenue they can find, and
Right.
also to make sure that costs are appropriated accordingly. So one of the problems is so that, it's not a perfect system, we all know.
No, I do.
And so the
understand.
problem, right, so the problem you have sometimes is some costs get allocated. Either as a total or as a department, they probably should be separated out. But again, it went to the whole discussion of the team's position, all right, or the position of the person. And I said, guys, you wouldn't want to sit through the two meetings that we put that person through.
Yeah.
No, and I thought you did a fabulous job at it and explained yourself, and for me, that's, that's all I need. And I said to myself, when I heard that you were taking care of the schools from the standpoint of on board, off board, and workman's comp, benefits, and so forth, I just sat there and said,
It makes perfect sense.
and there is an HR area for Silver Lake.
Yeah.
But not for KDS and KA. And that's what the difference is.
And that led me to the question, does that mean next year or in the upcoming budget that they're submitting? Have they adapted and transferred some of the costs from the school to your position?
Probably not. I mean,
That's just,
the
it.
thing to keep in mind is, so payroll and the HR function have always been responsible for KES and KIS employees when it comes to benefits, payroll, unemployment, workers' comp, retirement, the whole thing here. What has changed is the caliber of how we're doing it now, because it used to be. Now it's collaborative, it's, we gotta reduce the costs, we gotta do this, we gotta do that. So I would venture to say, because there's never been, I mean, I'm not the accountant, so I don't think there's any, so much of this position's time, so much of, I think there should be.
And I think that's the question, not
Yeah.
so much what your responsibilities
Yeah.
have changed and, just that, yes, they have been changed. You prove that. The JAQs, everything was proved off, okay? So my question was, well, does that mean that they were paying for that task? Are they gonna be taking some of that budget and move it over to the town side? That was the only question, not
Yeah, and
anything other than.
No, yeah, I guess,
I look at your position,
Mhm,
the town administrator position,
mhm.
that would be another one, how much time does he spend on
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
It's hard to dissect that.
The,
The same.
Well, I
hard
know
to-
that they're very particular about the school budget.
Well, no, I understand that, but there are certain administration positions that are going to be town-wide and that are just gonna be part of the admin
Right,
expense.
that's right.
So I would
And-
assume that that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I would too, and
And
I think the selectman that asked the question was going at your point.
Yeah, I think
was,
it should go to them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
again, can of worms, you could open up,
Right.
because
Right.
how do you do facilities?
Yeah.
No, they don't.
No, but how do you do facilities? He takes care of parts of it.
No,
Well,
they have their
but,
own facilities director.
okay, he used to.
No.
For some reason, I remember the whole issue with some of the leaks over there, he was getting involved with.
So maybe 4 years ago, 5 years
Yeah.
ago, they really hired a district. Well,
Yes,
I will tell you
You're
this,
right, you're
I will
right.
tell you this. The town's liability insurance covers it. And so there's that piece of it. So, yeah,
And again,
Yeah, well,
that's just in the overall general budget.
right.
That's not sectioned out for school insurance.
No.
There's a lot of
Same
things
thing.
that come in with an umbrella, and
Right.
I'm not a problem, but it was just, a little particular
Mhm.
question, because I know that everybody's watching every dollar that they can,
You have to.
and they have to, and thank you. You got a great answer.
All right, so the minutes are approved. Let's go to that.
Agenda,
Yeah, I'm going back with it. I took it off the screen.
just in case you're curious, on May 19th,
Discuss date agenda.
Yeah, discuss date and agenda from that. I can't see this having a meeting on May the 19th.
probably not.
Unless Tina and something comes up.
Well, to review the bylaw.
From the town meeting. I'm just saying at this point.
Okay, let's see what I put on my agenda.
Approximately 9 minutes.
I have, let's see, review the draft of the bylaw.
Yeah.
And then the second item was discussing the one article about town meeting.
Right.
That's what's on the.
You had sent that email out about,
got that.
whatever the
Right, but
deadline is.
the deadline is after, right? So to be honest with you, I think May 19th at this point is unnecessary. Unless somebody has another thought.
Well, our meeting in June. Is it June 12th?
That's probably about right.
No, June 16th.
Okay.
So would that be enough if we decided that we were willing to accept requests for the bylaw for the fall for the meeting? We have to keep it in time, that'd be less than. When is the deadline?
July 10th.
Yeah.
So that
Next
was
meeting is
the 14th.
well, people have until July 10th, that way that's when I said it to
July.
Right, but I'm saying. If we skip May, then our meeting would be on June 16th.
Right.
And if we decided that people could submit requests, that would give them enough for the last minute.
But we could decide that tonight.
Oh, okay, fine. Well, it's not on the agenda. You're saying. It's not on the
Yeah.
agenda.
All right, so in other words,
Well, I guess we can-
topics not reasonably anticipated to be discussed 48 hours in advance of this meeting can be part of new business, and I'll be honest with you, I don't see any problem. There's no harm with us allowing anybody to, bring business to the Region Personnel Board and to, anything that relates to the fall town meeting to us prior to July 10th. I'm okay with suggesting that as a motion and putting it on the floor for tonight. I just don't think it's worth bringing everybody in for May 19th just to do that.
I don't think so.
And I don't think there's any harm to us doing it tonight.
Well, you could also pick a date and schedule,
Meeting early.
tentatively, yeah, you could have it,
Well, we could have a meeting right before town meeting and do it then. At town meeting.
yeah, no, I'm thinking about it,
No, we can't have a meeting at home, we have to have a meeting. You don't you play with the hour meeting?
we have a meeting. We always have. Are they saying that's not good anymore?
You would have to have Zoom for a public meeting. I post you the town meeting in case you and Jim needed to take care of some last
The town
minute.
meeting is,
Guys, are you gonna get up on the stage and open and close your ways and personnel board meeting up on the stage?
no, and you don't.
We've gone through this so many.
Probably, we
Right,
right.
Jim is going to say the finance committee always met without Zoom, but remember, you checked either last year or the year before.
Oh,
I think you should send out an email last year about Zoom. Because if a member of the public wanted to listen in, how did they find you in the laboratory?
No, we'd have to say it first.
good question,
show it.
good question.
No, I have no problem accepting, opening up the discussion period to the Region Personnel Board. That for business to be approached to the board in anticipation of fall town meeting for zones, anything that's brought to the board is brought before the other town.
in its entirety.
Correct. In its entirety.
In
All
its
forms of
absolute
documentation.
entirety.
I have no problem with that.
Okay.
After you guys.
So, do you have a problem?
No, I don't, so, I move,
Do we have to make a motion?
yeah, do we move?
I don't
I
think we need
don't
to.
think we do.
I think we just have to instruct Tina that the period is now open for fall town meeting, till July the 10th. Again, we appreciate it, all departments that want anything for us to consider, give us complete copy.
Yeah, can we do that after the town meeting? Can we just wait until after? I mean, I have to talk to Pete, anyway, so Pete know
Yeah.
tomorrow or whatever, morning. And then, you know, because he might say, no, I do not, or he might say, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, just to give them an opportunity.
All right, so let's leave it that you're gonna check with town administrator and advise the board. At this stage, we'll leave the meeting on the agenda for maybe an option, in case we have to do something. But subject to a response from you. All right?
Because I could just use the same number. As finish the day.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Let's have Keith just pass it, approve it. If he's okay with us getting it done, we'll do it, and if it will go out. We can certainly do it as a response to a question of Tina. You can get back to us at her convenience. And, at this point, I'll leave May 19th on, but I don't anticipate it.
So do you interested, without any specifics or titles or people's names or anything, do you have any sense that something's brewing?
No, I mean, I have a couple of my head, but my, you know, vision far, but I also think there's certain things that maybe the bylaw would be better out, but I didn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so basically the answer is you don't know of anything that's fine.
no one's like, oh my God, we gotta get this done.
Yeah, nobody's out, and that's good. Thank you. That's perfect. Okay.
All right, well, all right, so do the two of you want to decide if Ina speaks 15 and he says, then be a fall town, then raise your personnel committee. And have a warrant article, do the two of you want to decide now that I can just go ahead and do anything and then after you.
I'm fine.
Because then we didn't have to move it from there.
And not to mention about the lost in the chapel.
So that's what I'd rather wait until.
Yeah, and honestly, if something comes up, we'll meet. Not the end of the
We'll
world.
be told.
Not the end of the world.
We'll be told about it.
All right, then I'll take, if there's nothing else for the good of the group,
Okay, so if we don't need a name, and he speaks with Pete and says, go ahead, then I can just send out the memo.
Correct.
After.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Anything else for the good of the group? Then I will take a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn the Rich and Personnel Board at
6:18.
6:18. Thank you.
6:19.
I'll second it,
6:19.
and I'll call the roll. Lorraine?
Yes.
Jim, yes.